Does Connecticut have a sound?
I don't know, honestly. Like, I don't, I don't know for sure that Connecticut has its own sound. Um, I don't know, cause I feel like we just get bored in the East Coast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like that's East Coast hip hop. You spit
It's
like
just
East
lyrics.
Coast.
It's just
Like,
lyricism.
even when I was away in the military, like, you know, I might be at the club or whatever, and you know, somebody might be like, "Yo, you from New York?" And I'm like, "No."
No.
And they'll be like, "Oh, you gotta be from Jersey then." And I'm like, "No." And they'll be like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Connecticut." And they'll be like, "Oh, it's all the same shit." I'm like, "Well, it's not all the same shit." But, and then I'm like, "Well, how did you figure I was from that area?" "Oh, because the way you dress."
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
So you just feel an East Coast template.
I feel like East Coast has a sound, but it depends on what part of the East Coast you're talking about. Because, like, well, if you talking about like that New York, Connecticut, like I feel like everybody's kind of playing off each other. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. I could be wrong. Whatever. That's just kind of like how I feel about it. I don't necessarily feel like Connecticut has its own sound.
And I think Connecticut sound is making everybody else sound its own.
Like I feel like we have I feel like we have very strong artists.
We do. Like we do. Like I feel like if you're from Connecticut,
But I feel like when you look at it in a whole, we make East Coast music,
no, you're
East Coast
right.
rap music.
I think being in the hold of it, you'd be like, no, but we have such and such artists that do such and such. So you can't really lump them with such and such artists. So but I think when you look on the outside, it's just be like, but what sound do Connecticut make? But
Right.
most of the time, even just from doing this, I feel like our sound is more of the lyrics. Like our sound is not really a sound. It's just what do we say in our music.
Right. But where did that start at? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
where did we get it from? Where it's
yeah.
like, oh, I'm telling a story in my music, but that
That's the
didn't
East
start
Coast. That's
here.
the
You
East
know what I'm
Coast.
saying? It's just that East Coast
It says
sound.
East Coast sound.
You know what I mean? Like,
Especially when the East Coast West Coast beef was going on as well
or
too.
even when you look at down south, like they're down south, it don't matter if you're talking about like somebody from
It
Atlanta
just
or
sound,
somebody like
yeah,
it's a down
down
south
south
or
sound
Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta to Florida music is different,
different. But to
but
us,
as an umbrella, it's the same sound. You know what I'm saying?
no, I get that.
Just like
Like Memphis have they sound like
right, like but people from Cali, like different parts of Cali, like they don't all rap the same. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But you know a Cali beat when you know a
yo
Cali
Cali beat.
beat. You
No,
know what
that's
I'm
facts.
saying?
That's facts. Like
So
oh, that's from the Bay.
right,
Yeah,
even Chicago, like so, like even if you got people in Connecticut making drill music, but okay, but New York was doing drill music before Connecticut people started doing drill music. But who was doing that before New
well,
York?
yeah.
That
Who
was
made it popular?
Chicago.
Who made it
But
popular?
then who was doing it before Chicago? They got that shit from London.
Yeah,
Drill?
yeah, they did.
They got drill from London and it went from London to Chicago, Chicago to New York, New York to this way.
Cause I ain't gonna lie, I like London drill better than that shit fire.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
I don't know if
like
it's the accent, but you
I
know.
feel like
Hold on one second.
nah, but I feel like when it comes to CT, you have certain artists that I feel like you have certain artists that it's just like that's who you. It's like no. So it's like a lot of people, and this and see this could only be really 860 area, part of 203
Yeah.
area is where it's like when they think of a producer from CT, they're thinking of Shump,
Yes.
right? Um, that's bro. That's my guy. Shump is a sample producer though. You know what I'm saying? So now you're talking about samples. Is that the sound of Connecticut? You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a valid point.
You know what I mean?
That's a valid
So,
point.
like Shump is amazing at what he does.
And I seen him create some
amazing at what he does.
dope ass
Oh,
beat from
bro,
some great ass samples.
Me and Shump have so many records together.
That
like
you
we
don't
have
release?
the majority of my catalog is
Shump.
me and Shump. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother right there for real. But it's just going back to when you talk about like the sound of CT, like people talk about Snow a lot
Yes.
as like part of the sound of CT, but realistically she only had the one. So
At that magnitude.
So is it the sound of CT?
I mean,
If it's just the one?
you can make that argument because, well, no, because there's other people that made it to that level. Because would you say Jagged Edge is the sound of CT?
No, but Jagged Edge also, it was only half of the group that was from Connecticut. The other half wasn't from here.
But true, okay.
And they were made to an R&B group. You know
would you say like
that
Smooth Haynes is the sound of CT? Because when the Sucker for the Nookie came and became a hit,
yeah,
that was a hit too. Would you say that?
But that's even like Paperboys. You can go back to Paperboys or Mook and Fair.
Yeah, I was just gonna say them as well too.
You can go back to Paperboys. You can go back to Mook and Fair. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I feel like when you really, let's say, dissect it, it's a East Coast sound.
Because we can but like put it in distinctual categories when everybody look at it from the outside.
Right. So I feel like, so that's what I was talking about with the whole, when I was in the Air Force, right? And people was coming up to me like, "Oh, you from New York?" No. "You from Jersey?"
Because that's what they automatically assume because those are the major
and
those are the major capitals.
Right.
Of the
You're
East
seeing
Coast.
me like in Jordan, like with my Jordans and whatever the case is. So it's like, oh well, I automatically had to be from this area because of what's going. Now, when you talk about a particular sound, if you want to get specific, you look at places like Uzi with Philly. Like I just want to rock.
Yeah.
That's like a Philly sound that Baltimore, like Baltimore music.
Yeah.
Like nobody else is doing Baltimore club music but Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's when you want to talk about like the sound of place. Like when Uzi dropped I Just Want to Rock, I literally was like, oh yeah, this is Philly all the way.
But what about when people drop dumb out music? Because we drop dumb out. That's our culture here, dance culture wise.
So yeah, is it at that? Is that
a sound? But is that a sound of CT? Because
I don't think it's a sound of all of CT.
Because when 860 Zoo was out.
Well, I guess you could say it probably is the sound of what, Hartford.
Because but you see, that's the thing. Like these are the things that people are contributing to the arguments and conversations of what CT sounds like.
The reason I'm saying, can you just say that that's a sound of like the Hartford area, even though
you can say that. You can say that.
But it came from
out here.
It came from out here,
and that's a controversial topic within itself, based on the origination of that as well itself.
Yes, I know. So, and the reason I'm saying that, because just like I brought up the example of Uzi with I Just Want to Rock, and as soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh, that's the Philly
But that's why I asked about the dumb out, because when you hear some dumb out music, you can be like, is that Hartford?
Exactly, because what I'm saying with the Uzi thing, I'm saying Philly, I'm not saying Pennsylvania.
No, exactly. You're pinpointing to one specific area.
Right, so if you want to say Dummin', yeah, that's the sound of like Hartford.
Yeah, that's more the Hartford area right there. But it just extended but it went outside of Hartford a little bit.
Right, but why did it go outside of that region? Because of who was chilling with who. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's
exactly
where that came from.
And plus, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people who did jail, they went to jail in places who did 860 people who were spending jail time with 2 or 3 people.
Right.
And they became cool off that as well, too. So a lot of things transition between the two cultures between that as well, too.
Right.
So there's a lot of little mini details that
people overlook that actually
make the two things cross over from one place over to the next.
Yeah. So now, let's say when you take lyrics, right? How many records do like Sholey and Annoyed
and Ty Henny and
and
Frago Bass,
they all got together, whatever. But
is that a sound of CT?
But where's Annoyed from?
He's from Bloomfield.
Sholey's from 203.
Where's Fuego from?
Fuego's from Hartford.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but when you look at lyrically where they're at,
they're all in different places.
But the sound wise, that's a sound of.
But that's what I'm saying. Does that contribute to the sound of CC? But it is an East Coast sound.
It's an East Coast sound.
Yes, because they all spit differently. But you can be like, well, that's the East Coast rapper.
Right. The way that we're all spitting, we're not all spitting the exact same. But the way that we're spitting, you would know we're from this area.
Yes. But that's why I like to say.
When you know that like a Cali rapper.
Yes.
Right? Because they rap with
and
a
the
different...
lingo that's being used as well, too.
They rap with a different type of like swag to them. They rap a little slower with a tone, whatever. Same way you know with a down south rapper.
But you can even break it down to the beat. You can be like, oh, that's a Cali beat. Oh, that's a New England beat.
Right.
So that's why we need producers who's just important to contribute to the beat as well too. Because when you think of a Connecticut producer, like who comes to your mind? Like for me, I know who to think of when it comes to that. But then people will argue with like, is that a Connecticut? Because like you said, I would say Shump, but then you would argue with he makes samples.
I feel like the main producers that come to me, if it's somebody's like right on top, is like Diddy.
Yeah. Diddy Broker.
Yeah, Diddy and Shump.
I think of 2-4, Ty Nitty in there as well too.
Yes.
Especially because the run he had with Annoyed.
Yes, and I'll give you that. Yes. Nitty had a phenomenal run with Annoyed. Yes, he did. Or you could also talk about the Breed, because the Breed literally have plaques on their walls when you go into their studio.
No, you're right. And we also have Blurred Vision.
But see, I feel like when you literally talk about it, like just like producer and CT, somebody's gonna say Shump or Diddy.
That's what I think so too.
Yeah.
That's
because they're gonna say Shump, Diddy, or the Breed. Like that's literally gonna be like one of the three
in there
that they say. Yeah, absolutely.
But there's other producers that contribute to the sound of
CT that a lot of people don't talk
about as well too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I hear different producers that come up all the time, and I be like, oh shit. Yeah. Oh, word?
Motherfuckers got heat.
Yeah, no, real shit.
They got heat.
Like, even like Rozzy that we was talking about. Rozzy worked with some dope producers.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of producers probably don't think. You've worked with dope producers.
Yeah.
Producers probably not even heard of as well, too, but they would contribute to the sound. Matter of fact, there are producers who have platinum hits. They have hit records with major artists, and they're from Connecticut.
Yep.
Like, I know for a fact. Matter of fact, I think somebody from Connecticut just recently got a Grammy for something recently. I forgot exactly specifically, but I've heard a producer just got a Grammy from Connecticut.
Well, I know the Breed has some stuff under their belt.
Yeah, and then I think there's another one that had something with Travis Scott.
Mizzy Lot, I don't think he's the one that had anything.
I don't know, but I didn't get the name. But I know somebody, Travis Scott, they have something with, is it Yosemite? I think Yosemite, they have a plaque with that as well, too. But there's a lot of shit that happens here as well, too, that they don't get credit for contributing to the sound of CT. Yeah. And I don't think that's fair, but because
Connecticut's tough because when people hear Connecticut, they think of rich white people.
Mm-hmm.
So now,
you think of Greenwich.
So now when you look at who's the biggest artist from Connecticut
right now,
like in the history, in general, who's the biggest artist from Connecticut?
That's a good question. Who is that?
Webby.
Claim? That's gonna say that claims. Yeah, that's gonna say claims Connecticut. Yeah.
But now look at Webby. Who is he? I think he's a great artist. I think he's a phenomenal artist.
It's funny. Actually, having a conversation I know the other day, he said a lot of people won't understand his music because he make performance music.
Yeah. So funny thing, me and my husband went to a Dipset concert, and Webby was one of the openers, and that was like my first time ever really listening to Webby, and I was like, me and my husband, we literally rocking them. Like I was like, yo, this white boy is dope. Like. So I get what Hunni was saying about he make performance records because he absolutely does. Like, thinking back to that time. But think about it. People think Connecticut is rich white people. Webby's the biggest artist to come out of Connecticut. He is a white boy. And
from the area he's from as well, too.
Yes. He's from the
suburbs. So you'd assume he's like a little Dickie from Connecticut.
But what is he talking about? He's talking about pill popping. Like, white boy shit. He's talking about white boy shit.
Yes.
So then when you have minority artists, the black artists, the Puerto Rican artists, you know what I'm saying, that are talking about real other shit, it may not always be taken serious.
Because they'll be like, that comes from Connecticut.
Because they don't realize that, like, I mean, shit, like I told you, my husband's from South Jersey. He's from Camden. He's from the hood. Like, legit. Like, born and raised in the fucking trenches. And when he comes out here, he's like, oh yeah, we can stay out here. Like, I'm like, I don't want to stay out here.
He's like, yo, we good.
He's like, it was quiet as fuck out here. I like this shit. Like, he's like, I love this compared to where I came from. You know what I'm saying? This is cool.
This is a safe haven right here.
I feel cool.
But you coming from a different place, like, nah, I'm good.
And I'm sitting here like, fuck this place. Fuck you mean? Like,
no, but that is facts though, because it's like when you compare, like, you have Chris Webby, then you have The Annoyed, and then you have Fuego Bass, and you have Sholey. it's like they all contributing something different.
Yeah.
So
but I feel like we just get I don't think anybody necessarily. And this is just my personal opinion. I don't think anybody necessarily, because even look at Don's EOP. Like, I feel like you can't talk about CT without talking about Don. Don was actually signed to good music.
Yes.
Like,
he did a whole thing with Pusha T.
Like,
he was on the Absolute tour with him as well too.
People don't even
and he don't get the credit and recognition for that because everybody want to talk about how he's overzealous and do all these things, but he used his own opportunities and experience to put on to the people who wants to get put on.
Don is a fucking artist. Like,
I love Don. He's a rock star and he's a great person to begin as well too. But you have to understand. You have to understand PJ.
Yeah.
You have to understand PJ.
There you go. And like, so you know, when you talk about the sound of CT. Snow, like, okay, Snow didn't start. You're not even going to the sound of maybe Hartford area, Hartford County.
Fact.
Snow didn't start that. Her record put it.
But even going back to that, Shump had a follow up with that as well too. Yeah. With J-Rock, with the Rub Your Belly, the Rub Your Belly song.
No, he had it with Mike. Everybody dumbing.
That was another one though. But that was another one. Okay. But that was another one.
Okay.
He definitely had another one with J-Rock too.
I didn't hear the J-Rock.
Yeah, when J-Rock came out, that's why everybody be rubbing their belly when they do Dumbing Out now, because ever since that one. And then he had the everybody dumbing with Mike. But even Mike got controversy for that one as well too, because everybody felt like he shouldn't have been the one who's doing a song like that. But then Mike was like, nigga, I'm in the trenches just like everybody else too. I'm in the same.
And he's actually in the area.
Yeah, exactly. But because of where he's from, he get the controversy. But a lot of people don't know. He was with Annoyed as well too. When Annoyed was having his run as well too, Mike was there. Mike was going bar for bar with Annoyed at that time too.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, okay, so let's take people like Annoyed, or even the way you talk about me with the way I spit and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, where is it coming from though? It's
a pain.
But the influence of how we rate is the East Coast.
Nah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I don't know if you could necessarily say that there's a specific sound for CT. But because I don't think New York has a specific sound. I feel like we're under this East Coast umbrella.
I think somebody said the sound of CT is just pop.
I don't think that.
It's because CT goes off a lot of things that's popular and they make it their own.
Okay, in that sense,
because the Detroit drill, the trap beats.
But the Detroit drill didn't just come from Detroit.
I know, but like one of my favorite people who I like Krug Muller. Mm-hmm. Like Krug Muller, to me, he makes the trap sound a little fun. Like, I'm not somebody who's into the street, but when I listen to Krug, I have fun listening to his music because one, to me, I would just put it as basic and simple as this, right? I feel like his bars have a little bit more complete sentences to it because it has that Connecticut influence to it, you know? Okay. So that's where I feel like that balance come in with that. And that's my outside perspective, regardless of what anybody want to feel like. Yeah,
and so if you put it that way, because I don't even want to say, because even when you talk about like the drill music, like going to New York, like I heard some shit that I'm like, why do people listen to? Like I heard, let me even say some shit. I heard a lot of shit, and I'm like, why do we? Like there was this one track. I think old boy just kept being. I think the hook was like, I like the way that you fuck. I like the way that you fuck.
I was like, really, bro?
And I was like, and they had so many views, like.
Because niggas are dancing to it.
Yeah,
all that shit.
But it was a drill joint, and old boy in this Nike Tech in the middle of Times Square with the mic. I like the way that you fuck. I like the way that you fuck.
Not even looking at the camera.
And I'm just like, this is like the dumbest shit I ever heard. I like the way that you fuck. This is outrageous.
But I've learned there's a difference between feel good music, real music. There's different music serve its purpose.
No, it does.